Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. In this video we will go deeper into reactive animations. I was inspired by Huang. He created this beautiful carousel animation. And I will show you my way of doing it in React Native by using React Native Gesture Handler, React Native Reanimated the Transition API, React Native Pose, and Animated API from React Native. As you can see from the screen, there are multiple types of animations, and we will use the fling gesture handler to get the swipe direction and change the active slide. We will use the reactive type of animation that I've already walked you through in the previous videos in order to modify the background. We will use the transition API to create the slide bottom effect whenever we change the active slide, plus last, the React Native pose to animate the mounting and unmounting of the image for each particular slide. So lots of types of animations are going on the screen, and I'll show you exactly how to do it and how to combine those third-party libraries. So let's play the intro, jump straight into VS Code, and start building this beautiful carousel. Shall we? Alrighty friends, so we are in VS Code. I've already created a project using Expo, and I've grabbed a couple of data and built some components. So let me walk you through what we have so far. We have a data file here, and I've grabbed the data from BBC Good Food. This is the script that's taking all the data that I'm gonna show you now. We have an image, a title, description, prep time, skill, cuisine, and type. So this is the collection of data that we will display on the screen. We also have a details list. Basically, this is the component which we display in the middle of the screen. Plus, for each type of detail item, we have an icon name attached to it. And now inside the app main, the main file here, we have an item component, which is a wrapper for children, and it's passing the overflow hidden. So all the text elements will have overflow hidden and a fixed height attached to it in order to create this hidden effect, right? And then we will have an icon component that's displaying a simple line icon and passing the name that's receiving as prop. The description component, which is this component from the bottom of the screen, that's wrapping a text and that's basically rendering the item and passing the text as a children. And the text itself, it has a key to it, which you'll find why in a minute. And the title is the same as the description, but the styles differs, and the color it's also different. And the details component, it's a list of items, this component in the middle, from the middle of the screen, and I'm passing through each details list. So the prep time, skill, cuisine, and type. And for each type of the details list, I'm rendering a view, and inside the view I'm rendering the icon, I'm rendering the text for each type grabbed from the data itself. So in case of prep time, I'm displaying 1 hour, and so on and so forth. And the same thing, the text has a dedicated key, which is the type of the detail plus the index itself. And inside the application, I have the active slide or the index itself as use state hook and some colors here. And I'm rendering the entire application into a safe area view, and inside it I have a view that contains the image for the active index, and then again another view that will render the title, the details, and the description, as you can see from the screen. And this is what we have so far, right? And now the first thing that I would like to create is the reactive type of animation using the animated API. I've already walked you through how to create it. A link to a particular video will appear somewhere on the screen. So if you would like to follow up it and learn more, just feel free to click on it. But how a reactive type of animation works is we need to create two different animation values. So we'll have the active index here, which is a React useRef, and the new animated value starting from 0 get the current, and the same but this time animation. So we have two different animated values, right? And when this component will be mounted using the React use effect hook, we would like to animate the animation based on the active index, right? So we'll have animated timing. We would like to animate the animation. We would like to go to value the active index. We would like to pass a duration of duration, and we will use the native driver for this example, and then start the animation. And this is how you can create a reactive type of animation in React Native, meaning that whenever we will set the value for the active index, the animation will animate to that particular value using the timing function with this duration. And the next thing, let's wrap the entire safe area into a fling gesture handler. So we will get the direction up and down, and we can animate and set the index based on the direction, right? So let's start by wrapping this safe area view into a fling gesture handler, and we will need two of them, so two different gesture handlers. So one is gonna be the up, and we'll pass a direction of directions up, and on handler state change we'll get an event, and we'll check if the event state is equal to state.end. It means that the fling event just ended, right? We would like to set the active index to a particular value. So we would like to set it to index +1. So whenever you move up, we would like to increment the index. If you move down, we would like to decrement the index, right? And we will also like to set the index with index +1. And we will reuse this, so we can create here a use callback. So set active index, it's a React use callback, and we'll get the index as a param here, and we will paste those two methods, and instead of index +1, say new index, and reuse this method and pass the index +1 here. And we will know that if you are on the last slide, we don't want to continue. So in order to do that, we will check here if the index is equal to data length -1, we would like to return. So we will not do the active slide anymore. And now if I swipe up, I'll change the index accordingly, right? And let's apply the same for the down behavior this time. So copy paste all the props. Instead of up, let's say down. The direction is gonna be down as well. And here the index, if the index is 0, we don't wanna go to -1, right? So we wanna stop the animation, and instead of incrementing the index, we will decrement the index. Now if I hit save and swipe up, I'll increment the index. Otherwise, if I swipe down, I'll decrement the index. Great. Now that we have those two in place, let's create the background animation. And for the background animation, how I'm thinking about it is we will have a view that will have a height of the screen multiplied with how many data we have in the collection. And inside it, we will have for the even items, we will have a background color of white, otherwise it's background color of dark. And the main item will be translated Y based on this animation value. So let's start by creating here inside this safe area view an animated view. And inside the animated view, I'll map through the data, right? Because we will need how many slides to create. And we don't care about the data itself, we only care about the index. And we'll return here a view. We'll pass the key as I and some styles. And for the styles, we'll apply a height of the height of the screen. And then background color, in case I modulo 2 is equal to 0, we would like to have it a background color of light. So colors light BG, otherwise it's colors dark BG. Hit save, and for the wrapper of this list, we said that first let's position this absolute. So we'll have a style sheet absolute fill object, and then we will have a height of the screen multiplied with data length, right? So we will have a big height here, and hit save now. And now when we change the slide, we would like to translate Y. And if we go up here and create this translate Y component, translate Y constant, we can interpolate the animation. So interpolate. We know that we are incrementing or decrementing by 1. So we'll say here the input range is gonna be -1, 0, and 1. And for the output range, we would like to change it to height, 0, and minus height. So upwards and downwards with height. And if we apply this translate Y to the main container, so we'll have a translate Y. Now whenever I'm swiping up or down, I'm animating the container, so I'm moving it. The next part is to animate the title, the details list, and the description using the transition API from React Native Reanimated. And let's start by going up here and import the transition from React Native Reanimated. So the transition and transitioning. And let's go down here in the main application. And instead of using a view that's wrapping the title, the details list, and description, let's make this transitioning view. And transitioning view here. And this transitioning view needs two properties. One is the ref, and the other one is the transition. And for the ref, let's create the ref here. So we will go on top and create the ref. It's a React use ref. And for the transition, we can go above here and create the transition. And this time, I would like to use the transition together. And inside it, we'll have a transition in. So transition in. We'll have a transition change and in. So it's actually out, change, and in. And for the transition out, we would like to have a type of slide bottom. We would like to have a duration of duration. And we would like to have a different interpolation, and this time we'll use is in. And let me copy this and apply the same to the transition in, but this time we'll use the is out. So right here, before we set the index with a new index, we would like to inform the transitioning view, hey, we will change the state, so you should also move or animate from the old state to the new one. And in order to do that, we will get the ref of the transitioning view, get the current, and animate next transition. And now if I hit save, you see when we change the index, before that we actually animate with a slide bottom effect. And now I noticed that this animation, it's too slow, so I'll change the whole animation of the background to be faster, right? Alrighty. So this is looking good so far, right? And the missing part is to animate the mounting and unmounting of the image, or rotate it and fade out and fade in with rotation back. And in order to create this effect, we will use React Native Pose. I've already went through a couple of React Native Pose tutorials. A link to the playlist will appear somewhere on the screen. If you'd like to know how to animate using React Native Pose, you can follow up the link. And now let me go up to the top here and import posed and transition as posed transition from React Native Pose. Basically, this transition is going to create this, will transition from mounting and unmounting of the components. And down here, let me create the posed views. So basically, I will show you a trick how to fake the mounting and unmounting of the images. But first, let's create the posed view. And posed view, it's a posed view, and we'll have an enter animation and an exit animation. And for the enter, we'll like to have opacity 1 and rotate it to 0 degrees. And for the exit, we'll have an opacity of 0 and we'll rotate it 180 degrees. And with this posed view, if we go down here where we render the image like this, instead of the view, let's make this a posed view and wrap this posed view into a pose transition. And this pose transition will animate all the children that will disappear or appear, and will apply this enter or exit properties. But here, in order to animate those elements, we need to pass first a key. So key, it's equal to image 0, right? And we will do if the index modulo 2 is equal to 0, we would like to display a pose, otherwise the same pose. This is really important. But this time for the second pose, we'll pass a different key. So basically it's the same image, but we will hack it in a way that we will animate the same image back and forth. So we will create this beautiful effect. And now when I'm swiping, I'm animating this mounting and unmounting of the image. But notice that the effect itself is not that good, so let's create a different type of transition. So on top here, let's create a config constant and pass a transition. And the transition will have a twin type. We'll have a duration of duration, and we'll have an easing of easing elastic and pass 0.9. And for those two animations, pass the config transition. And now if I hit refresh, we have an elastic type of movement on the screen whenever this image will be mounted or unmounted. And before wrapping up this tutorial, I think so far it's looking really nice. And I would like to change the status bar to be either light or dark based on the index. So let me go here where I'm moving the slider, and I'll do status bar, set the bar style. If index is equal modulo 2, it's equal to 0, we would like to have it a dark content, otherwise it's a light content, and hit save. And now if I hit refresh, now it's dark and now it's light, dark, light. And we can also animate it, so it's the second argument of the set bar style, right? And now it's animated. Isn't that beautiful? So yeah, friends, that was it. Thank you so much for staying so long with me. I hope that you've learned new tips and tips and you can apply them to your projects. If you have any issues, don't hesitate to leave a comment down here in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer all of them and help you out as much as I can. Also, don't forget to subscribe and smash the like button if you liked this video. Other than that, see you in the next video. Bye.